Deck builder like city builders seem to be getting popular, but not all city builders have to chop wood and carry water. AstroScaper takes the concept to the stars with a puzzle-like city deck builder in space. Watch on and find out. My name is Thoraxe, and this is Strategy for Busy People. If you've got a few minutes, I'll tell you what to play. Note: as always, I want to let you know about potential conflicts. The developers asked me to review this game, but they'll have to earn their hamburgers just like anyone else. In this installment of Strategy for Busy People, we're looking at AstroScaper by Fun Fortress. I put just over an hour into their demo. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, these kinds of deck builder city builders are becoming popular. AstroScaper combines those deck builder-ish mechanics along with some rogue-ish RNG that turns into a bit of a puzzle-solving, area control kind of mashup. I swear game devs are playing Yahtzee with game mechanics. Anyway, you start by placing your little base, and then you get to choose from 3 families of buildings that you can place. Buildings that add population, resources, or life support. Placing those buildings also costs one or both of the other items. A population building might cost you resources and life support, for example, but it gives you population. As you place buildings, your scores in the various categories go up, and your overall point total also goes up. When you reach a new threshold, you get to activate another round of buildings within one of the categories. The interesting part here is that picking a single building, like the community center, doesn't only give you one community center to play, it might give you a few different buildings in the population category. So the fundamental mechanics are pretty simple. Place buildings that consume points in one of your categories to raise the other categories. And if it stopped there, it might be interesting enough. But wait, there's more. When you place a building, it has a little sphere of influence visual that displays for you, showing the area within which bonus effects might stack. Placing a habitat next to a habitat provides an adjacency bonus that increases the population gains overall. Placing a farm next to a farm does the same. Hovering over an available building you can construct shows you all of the adjacency bonuses, as well as the penalties. That's right, placing some big, ugly resource building next to a population building might make people unhappy. Now, in what likely doesn't come as a surprise, the resource buildings tend to deal with, resources, like crystals or ice, and so you have to place resource extraction buildings next to the resources. Tell me if this is confusing you yet. Some of the resources benefit by having a bunch of extractors next to them, like ice, but others, like crystal, end up with adjacency penalties for having too many extractors. Then you get processing buildings that are buffed by the extraction buildings, and so on and so forth. As you play longer and reach higher unlock tiers, some of the buildings get fancier and can really make number go up. In one case, I ended up with some kind of agricultural life support processor building that had a huge sphere of influence and granted me almost 300 life support for placing it. But, as is to be expected, some of these big fancy buildings also cost a lot to place. The fundamental strategy ends up being monitoring which of your categories is getting low on supply, and then using your next unlock for buildings of that type so that you can boost those numbers back up. The ultimate goal of the demo level is to be able to unlock the orbital station, and then, well, that's the end of the demo, at least. If you saw my review of Pile Up, you might remember its mechanic of hands, where you basically had to play all your building types no matter what. AstroScaper, in contrast, doesn't force you to always build everything before you can get new buildings to use, but the usage pressure from Pile Up was sort of a core mechanic, whereas your, quote, deck in AstroScaper is a bit less card-like and more just kind of random stuff to build. That's not a bad thing, mind you. One thing that is a bad thing, though, is that once you click the big Add Buildings button, you can't unclick it. So be sure that you remember what category of buildings you wanted before you click it. Devs, take notice, the undo button should work for that too. You don't have to give me a new row of buildings, just let me, oops, I didn't mean that, dismiss the menu. Hey, before I give my final verdict, if this is your first episode, this one's free. But if you've watched me before, we're going to make an agreement. You help me level up by clicking subscribe, and I'll keep making these videos. I'll spend the time playing the games and making content that I hope you'll like, and you'll return the favor, okay? Leave comments, tell me what you think. It's all good. You just agree to engage. That's all I ask. The final verdict. It looked like from the tutorial that you may have scenarios with multiple planetoids on which to build with some supply lines running between them, and that really sounds like my cup of tea. The game is simple enough that you can understand it, forgiving enough with undo that it's not entirely frustrating, but has enough complexity and choice that it will probably be entertaining for a while. On my trademark 3-point score scale of avoid, meh, and I forgot to eat, there were farms and food printing and even a food processing center, but while I'm not exactly sure what was edible on my little asteroid, I did really enjoy my time there. I think this game is going to be a winner when it comes out, so give it a try, but when you get done, pack your bags and hop in your space mobile because I hear there's a nice restaurant at the end of the universe. And yes, if you've been watching me for a while, you know I used that ending before. Leave me a comment if you've got any cutesy endings for me to use.